Live in London, welcome in to the CHGO.
All right. Yeah. Let's make some noise. Yeah. Small but mighty.
This is
the most hungover room you're ever gonna see.
Not
That's
me.
what it is.
Not me.
Carmen are good, man.
Only
Sober
the
as
responsible
sober can
ones
be.
over
see
there.
people back in Chicago where it's 10 a.m. will be like, okay, yeah, it's 10 a.m. I hear it's 4. So
and we're
people
still
are
hungover
yeah.
from yesterday. Yes.
We have it's like a secret live show today.
Secret
the
live show?
exclusive live for the people that came on our trip through True Fan Travel. We were always planning on doing this live today, but we opened the doors, got a small gathering in here with us today. On
a smattering.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of these guys were with us yesterday too at Passy. That was awesome, but that was more of your live bar situation. So behind this camera, a bunch of diehards and some awesome Bears fans. The fans are, literally coming in plane loads and
That's
bus
crazy.
loads. We were up late last night. Just another bus of Bears fans came in.
Yes.
To
I
this
saw
whole-
one Jaguars fan. Maybe one.
Well, he's a little outnumbered.
Loser.
Yeah. They're winning the yacht race for sure with Shad Khan's yacht.
Yeah.
But
Pretty impressive.
I think the Bears will win the fan race.
I actually did some research on that, Hoge. You can rent it for $3 million a week, and I think that judging how much you guys are drinking, if we just stop drinking for a couple of days, we could
be on the yacht.
at least have a down payment towards the yacht, and then
You get it for a week?
then you can steal the yacht. Why not steal Shad Khan's yacht? I mean, that's
take
not right.
everybody in here, pitch in.
Okay, fine. We don't need to steal it. We can just hang out for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
You don't
They've
need
got a steam shower in there. There's a juice bar. You can do yoga there. Apparently,
A lot of research on this.
I did.
You can do yoga in this room.
I know, but this is written about what you can
Oh,
do on the
okay.
yacht, and then you can also there's 2 movie theaters. There's a lot of things. The yacht.
It needs 2 movie theaters.
Yes.
One's not good enough
Yes.
on the yacht.
Yes.
Well, and on the boat cruise last night, we were chanting "Let's go Bears" at the workers that were walking around this castle of a boat. So we were letting them know we don't care that you got the money. We got the passion.
Was that
screw you?
Was that before or after you tried to get me to take a picture with you, and then you literally tried to pick me up and throw me into the river?
I mean, we've been talking this up for a while, and I really wanted to throw you into the river, and I tried.
I tried to capture the moment, but it just
It
didn't
was
quite
good.
happen.
No, it was good.
I mean, it was a bad moment because I thought the moment actually might happen, so I tried to get away from you. I wasn't allowing it.
Okay. Well, we're all together. Amazingly, we've made it to Friday. You almost lost your bag. You almost lost your
How about the
wallet.
shirt?
And we got the shirt.
How about
These
the
are
shirt?
So you can
There
buy
it is.
these store.allcitynetwork.com. They are available and they're being printed and shipped out fast. So if you would like to help commemorate the trip to London, those are available for all Bears fans to purchase. These 2 are out in the countryside today. The Bears' final practice of the week, and so we're gonna have stories from the week, our trip here, but also we got some Bears stuff that we have to talk about, some newsy stuff that's gonna impact this game on Sunday.
Go ahead, Mark.
Well, I guess we could start off with when we were watching practice. Nick was very much looking for Tyrique Stevenson. Did not find Tyrique Stevenson. We did see Tevin Jenkins on the field, so hopefully that is a good sign. We'll see if he plays on Sunday. And then Jalen Jones was indeed out there in the Tyrique Stevenson position. So I think that's how the Bears are going to look on Sunday. Hopefully, if technology works here, we'll have a little bit of a one-on-one with Elijah Hicks, who's super smiling guy. He's not quite the player I think everybody would agree that Jaquan Brisker is, but he's got the Brisker energy. So I think people will enjoy hearing from him and his belief in himself. We also sat with Bill Murray today. So, Bill Murray was
he funny?
He wasn't that funny.
Yeah.
No, I can't say he was funny. He was a serious Bill Murray. He's very focused on being the best Bill Murray that he can be. And but I liked it. He's this is a guy that he couldn't get on the field, was battling, practice squad, whatnot, New England, and finally getting his opportunity here.
Well, let's do this, Nick. Level of concern from 1 to 10 being large concern about the Bears secondary in this game.
Well, I mean, you're missing 2 of your starters in Brisker and Tyrique Stevenson. The Jaguars are coming off their best offensive game. 6 explosive plays. You had a 60-yard reception from Trevor Lawrence. You had an 80-yard play. So they've been making big plays, but I trust the guys that are going to be in there. Elijah Hicks has played a lot of football under Matt Eberflus so far. He hasn't been starting, but he's been getting a lot of reps.
Year 3.
Then you look at Jalen Jones, and when I asked him today, Matt Eberflus, about his concern with not having two guys in the secondary, it's like they're in this position for a reason. They get these reps, or when they get in, it's not like they're getting ready. They're already ready and able to play. So, yes, I think there might be one or two more explosive plays than you would like to see on Sunday from the Jaguars, but I'm still confident in this Bears defense as a whole that they can still be a very productive unit despite having those two guys in the secondary.
Yeah, I mean, you see the foundation of the secondary and the depth that it has. Jalen Jones and Josh Blackwell were guys 2 years ago that were part of, a secondary that really was scrappy at the end of the year when the Bears were the worst team in football, didn't have anyone on their front seven to protect them. And they still held up pretty well against the Packers and the Eagles and some pretty high octane offense teams at the time. And so now you fast forward, and that depth is now something that's a strength for the Bears in their secondary, and it's certainly going to help them. So, for me, it's just one of those things where they're just going to have to hold on. The Jaguars are a team that needs to run the ball to have success with those explosive plays. And when you look at the game last week against the Colts, they're a team that gives up a lot of stuff on the run. So if the Bears can stop the run, then their secondary should be able to hold serve despite the fact that they're missing a couple starters.
So Tyrique Stevenson officially doubtful. Tevin Jenkins is questionable, and there seems to be more optimism that he'll get out there than maybe you would have thought earlier in the week coming off that ankle injury. But in that situation, I actually have more confidence that they're going to be fine with the way that Bill Murray already filled in last week. I'm not sure what I mean, it's pretty incredible. Like we're going into week 6 talking about an offensive line that has Bill Murray and Matt Pryor in it. And you're like, yeah, that's not as bad as the losing a couple guys out of secondary. It's kind of a weird, I'm not sure I was expected to be in that place.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. I mean, especially how the offensive line played in the beginning, and then you have two backups in there, but you still feel somewhat decent about what they can do offensively, especially what they did last week against Carolina. And you just hope that they take that game from last week, they get even better. And this is when Shane Waldron was asked about the defense for the Jaguars, he said it starts up front for them. So it's going to be a good test for whoever's playing on that Bears offensive line, knowing that that's the strength of their defense.
Well, and I asked Bill Murray point blank as the head coach of the Chicago Bears, are you ready to play on Sunday? Will you be in there? And he said, we'll see. So it seems to me that Tevin's going to play. Tevin has been on a mission this year to prove that he can be out there every week, right? And he did look from a distance like he was walking fine, moving around. So if I was a betting man, I would bet on Tevin to be out there, and I would bet that Bill Murray is ready if anything goes wrong.
They're playing the Jaguars. It's a good thing that this
32nd in the league in pass defense, 30th in giving up points.
Yeah, but it's again kind of a weird place that you're talking about the evolution of this Bears team through the last few weeks. I mean, I'm going into this game thinking, all right, that stretch, this streak that they've had of holding opponents under 21 points, 21 or under points, what's that, 11 games now, I think, might be in jeopardy this week. But all of a sudden, maybe some newfound confidence that Caleb Williams in this offense will still be okay.
A shootout at Tottenham? That would be a lot of fun for Bears fans.
Weird things happen.
Did you see that I was able to sneak into Tottenham this morning and got a
photo?
I
was wondering how this all went down.
Kevin Fishbane was questioning you.
I actually have not seen it. Did you get off the train at Tottenham and went to the stadium?
I'm not going to.
Pulled some James Bond.
Can neither confirm nor deny what happened as far as me and the photo that I have up on Twitter of the stadium. But that.
AI.
I got it done because I love you and I wanted you to be able to see the stadium, Hoge, beforehand. And by the way, on our train ride today, Pam at the station, it's like, hello, Mark. Hello, Nick. Where's Adam? She actually asked about you. So
no, didn't she think you were Adam?
No, she did not. She knows who I am. Pam knows who I am. There's no mistake.
We have video evidence. I'm pretty sure when Pam was talking to you, he's like, hi, Adam.
No, that didn't happen.
I'm confused. Should I be insulted by that or?
I think it's just a mistake.
Yeah,
by Pam.
I'm a little mad at Pam now.
No, Pam's the best.
And I have to go see her.
Yeah, and also, before we get out of here, we don't have to do it right now. I know we're up against our first time out, but I want to shout out everybody that was on the yacht last night. We had a great time. It was
that's
awesome.
Gonna be all of C Block.
Yeah. I took extensive notes. Thank you to everybody for real. And one of our gentlemen who's a Navy vet, he gave me this pin 20 years in the Navy. He's still based. I don't see him in here today, but he lives in Japan. He's fixing ships to this day. And he said that you get one of these when you do something great. And according to him, not you, Hoge, I have done something great being a part of this podcast. So that was super nice.
So do we tell him that we got him too?
Yes.
Or
he said he was going to give him. He asked me if you should get them too, and I said that's fine.
Yeah.
I got thank you for giving him.
Yeah, Chris Woodson. And he did like the military handshake where he had it in his hand as he shook your hand. It was
Is Chris in here right now?
Yeah, no, I don't believe he is. But shout out to Chris. That was certainly a huge honor and means a lot. So many different fans, and we can talk about it later. But
and this thing's heavy.
No, he had these made, and they're and like it's custom made with he's stationed in Japan, like you said, and so the back side of it has. I mean, I don't know what that is specifically, but that's like. So it's very personal to him and his story in the Navy. And I was moved, and honored, like you said, to receive it. So
I got to share with him how my dad, Papa Fred, fought in World War II and took was the one that kicked in the door on Hitler. And we shared a moment in there. And actually, he's a little bit more accomplished in the military than Papa Fred, but he was there. No. My dad was there. My dad did it. He was on cleanup duty. He brought the whiskey to the officers' party. There was a Jeep that blew out, and he was able to get through that and get on a train and get the whiskey there, a la Braggs.
That's great. I was going to say right up my heart.
Yeah, that's important.
That'd have been my job.
Yeah,
they wouldn't have gotten the whiskey.
I got the whiskey.
They wouldn't have gotten the whiskey.
Can you go do that now?
Yeah, I absolutely can. Except Jenny stole my wallet. I've been warned about pickpockets all week, and it was my wife that stole my wallet.
Good move,
Jenny. Good move, yeah.
Because every time tells me that was not an accident.
Well, she keeps catching me at the bar. Like, Doug, she sees it.
Steven, help me out. We started how many minutes late?
You were good. Go for it.
I'm just wondering when the break is. 3. Okay, so there we go. Thank you.
Okay.
Dos minutos.
We've had a great time here in London. We are right by the Tower of London. I think you checked it out today.
Tower of London today. It was incredible. Brandon gave us the whole tour the other night.
Oh yeah, we got
he should have been our tour guide, but being able to go and experience it with my wife, like it was unbelievable. And the stonework and the brickwork, obviously something that really resonates with me. So to be able to see things that were built, so
I should probably know this, but did you go inside and take the actual tour and get the audio book and the whole thing?
Well, we had a tour guide, and then after that, we went off and went up and explored the buildings on our own.
Did you do the moat?
What?
They have a moat down there. You did the moat.
We went into see John Quincy Adams' wedding certificate. Saw his signature. That was pretty cool too. So just a lot of history, and it's cool to be able to experience some of that here.
When Braggs talks history, I get very excited. Like when you go into King George, it's a whole nother level of you that I didn't think you had, but you've been busting it out in this. You love King George.
So in the over there at the Tower of London, they had this test where they test your masonry skills, and they ask you like where you'd build on a hill or a valley, and you go through this like tutorial and pick each option. At the end, it tells you how you did. And I can give you the results later if you want to guess. It was pretty good.
I bet you were great.
Yeah. Master Mason over here.
Master.
Well, how did they grade you on the like a percentage?
Yeah.
Did you get 100?
Come on now.
You better have.
I'm a Master Mason. Let's go.
You made this exhibit up. I did not.
I swear. I'll show you the picture. I'll show you the picture. I'll send it in to Steven for later.
Okay. Fantastic. All right. We are going to hear from Elijah Hicks because technology did work.
All right.
But before we do that, I got to thank some of our sponsors that support us here at CHGO, allow trips like this to happen. Very happy, as always, to talk about Shady Rays because you want to get ready for the fall season ahead with quality shades built to last. And our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that will not break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglass company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people, including myself. Their shades have durable frames, crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all outdoor adventures. And by the way, we had a beautifully sunny day here in London. I was wearing my Shady Rays out there. There was not a cloud in the sky, believe it or not, here in England. They have hundreds of options to choose from at Shady Rays, so you're bound to find the perfect match to your style. And this is exclusive for our listeners. Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com. Use code CHGO for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
I have to tell everybody about Constant Contact. Let's talk about goals for a minute. How are you tracking with the ones you set for your business earlier this year? Are you close? If not, do you know why you haven't hit them yet? One of the goals I have for this CHGO Bears podcast is that, well, if it isn't already, the #1 and most listened to Bears podcast in the world, but you do have to set goals to reach that milestone. You have year-end goals. Constant Contact has what it takes to help you meet them faster. No matter how experienced you are with digital marketing, Constant Contact has the tools to make your marketing run smoother. Time to put the go in your 2024 business goals with email, social, SMS, and customized marketing campaigns built for you in just a few clicks. Ready, set, go to constantcontact.com/allcity and start your free trial today. Go to constantcontact.com/allcity for your free trial.
All right. So what?
Well, first of all, I want to just, we would not be here today without a lot of help. And one of our people from Molson Coors, Jeff, is here, just knocking it down for us. Just giving us the love. So we've been loving that partnership, all of us, especially me. And so thanks to Jeff for being here. And also, breaking news, Hoge, that I didn't tell you about earlier that I forgot. Your guy, Mr. Special Teams, do you think it's important for the kicker to get to the stadium, get that extra edge?
Yes, and I do know that Cairo Santos and Torrey Taylor were at the stadium today getting in the work.
Okay, I thought that was something special that I knew and you didn't know, but that's fine.
All right, that's okay.
Santos and Gill. That's good.
There was some communication that went out this morning that was happening.
Okay.
And good job by you, because you didn't get that and you still fished it out.
Well,
how did you find out about it?
I know somebody that saw the workout happen.
Gary Ross?
It's not Gary Rappaport or Ross. No, it is not Gary. Gary has some other directives for me today, and we've been debating. Apparently there's some trade rumors out there that I don't.
I'm sure. Okay.
Well, David Kaplan's reporting these trade rumors that the Bears are talking to people about Keenan Allen, which I think is. Cap had that. I can't imagine the Bears are trading Keenan Allen, or people are giving up a premium pick for Keenan. But Cap had that today.
What Cap says, I listen and believe to the edge of the earth. Doesn't matter what it is.
You couldn't even
the deadpan look that Adam gave me.
Wasn't that weird?
Listen, him and Cap have a weird relationship, and
so do you. And Cap.
I was about to say
yes, but
me and Cap, we have a normal relationship.
I have. David Kaplan did hire me, and so
he's been to more Carmel football games than any of you guys have.
I know, and I feel really bad. Potsy goes, Cap goes.
Chris Emma's gonna come.
I feel no guilt.
See, my thing is, if I came, it would be really hard for me. I'd be booing you just to I'm rooting for your success, but I also like to harass you. So I
should be rooting for our
quite
players'
the balance.
success.
You have to strike there.
Let's root for Elijah Hicks' success. How about that? You want to set this up, Carmen, since you talked to him?
Well, so the Bears have been making, various players available throughout the week and just sitting down at a table. So Elijah was there today. So I got to get in there with him. He's, of course, going to be in there for Brisker. And you'll see right away here that the smile is real. The belief is real. And he's just a positive guy. This is I think it's a pretty good direct example of the guy that the Bears have as their backup safety in that locker room. If you had to underline what you've gotten better at from when you started to now that gives you the best chance for success on Sunday, what would you say?
Yeah, I'll say it's a couple of things. So, at the end of the day, it's all about, playing fast and knowing what to do. And with all that, it gives you confidence. So, if it comes to, just simply, being more comfortable because I'm year 3 into this defense, knowing where guys are going to be. Obviously, our team is just better. Our defense is just better. So we're around a better group of guys. So we all going to play better and look better in that sense. We're trusting one another. Knowing that I got, this guy at the nickel or these corners and we all communicating better, I think that just gives guys confidence to be like, okay, I know you're going to be here, so I'm not doing other people's job. I'm just able to hone in on what my assignment is, and I'm kind of just locked into it because I can trust what everybody else is doing.
You get that smile on your face. It seems like, hey, I've been waiting for this. I know I can do it almost.
Yeah, that's also just kind of who I am, too. So I wouldn't even say it's just because of the opportunity this week, I'm kind of always just love to be playing ball. Even when I'm just on special teams, I'm trying to make all the tackles. I'm turning guys up. Like, you see me even when I'm not on defense, I'm the first one down there when somebody get a pick. Like, I just got that energy, and I just love playing ball. So you're going to always see that.
So let's have a competition. Who's got more energy, you or Brisker?
I'm going to say me every time, but one guy who I kind of like may have gave the ring to is DT,
Oh, yeah.
52. I mean, he's so high energy and turned up. When he came from Seattle, I'm like, this dude might got me beat with the turned up. Like, it's hard for me to match his energy, but I'm always going to say me. I'm going to say me for sure. But he right there.
Yeah.
We all turn.
Based on previous experience, what's
My biggest takeaway from that interview is that
Yeah.
Tyson Bagent's in the background and you weren't talking to him.
So I felt guilty about it, but I wanted to let Bagent go international and let him have that moment. It was a really weird scene today. Like
Sandy Tom says in the chat that you chose that camera angle so you could get Bagent in the shot.
That's true. And when Bagent walked
Strategic.
out, if truth be told, I was kind of lovingly staring up at him, hoping to make eye contact, and he didn't look at me, and it was disappointing. But that was okay. Tyson was focused.
Yeah, clearly.
I will. This scene in there today, where there was a much larger international media contingency, so they're all in there, and the Bears make one player available to start, Mercedes Lewis. So Jeff Joniak, legend radio voice of the Bears, is just jumped
And
right
Carm
in.
Heckler.
And Carm Heckler starts interviewing Mercedes, and then Mark Potash sits down, and he's fired from the Sun Times is fired, and the entire international community are watching these two interview Mercedes Lewis. And I just thought I found the whole thing to be just very bizarre. So I took a picture of that too. But that was, I mean, like Mercedes Lewis in that moment was, I don't know, Walter Payton is probably
Yeah, he was the most popular athlete on the team for a moment there.
The big dog was holding it down for the Bears internationally.
Speaking of Walter Payton, we should talk about that because we met so many fans of the Bears from around the world yesterday. And like, not, some of them are maybe Americans that moved overseas at some point, but a lot of them took the train down yesterday or whatever from elsewhere in the UK to come to our event at Passy-Young. Some are from Germany. And you ask those people why they're Bears fans, and a very common answer is Walter Payton and the refrigerator. And like, because the 80s were when games started to get broadcast out here, and the Bears were good. So that was a good time to be the good team, I guess, because that has led to so many Bears fans. Because you got the Jaguars coming here playing multiple games every year, and yet here the Bears are. They're technically the home team this week. It didn't really matter. They're going to have more fans, obviously.
I mean, I remember when I got into being a Bears fan, and like my dad taught me about Walter Payton. Like it seems like a very universal person. If you're going to go into the history of the Bears organization, like you start with sweetness.
The other answer, and this will make you two guys very happy, believe it or not, is Michael Jordan. Because for maybe those that were not alive in the 80s and maybe caught on, to American sports in the 90s, that was all about Michael. And so then they just sort of became Chicago fans because of that. And so when they picked a team from Chicago for football, it happened to be the Bears.
Right. And we've had a lot of drinks this week, but I did.
You
Tell,
know,
I mentioned
you
this
have
on
mentioned
the
that
show.
many times.
I mentioned and I'm saying, but I also mentioned this Michael Jordan thought in this very room 2 days ago, if you remember. So but I agree with you. Like, and to me, this is why this is such a pivotal time for the Chicago Bears, because you do have this generation of Bears fans that were born from the 85 Bears, wherever they came from, Chicago or worldwide. And that has kind of had a trickle down effect into the Hester days and the Lovey era. And for people my age that we really, resonate with those players, Lance Briggs and Alex Brown and Corey Wooten, part of our team. And it's an honor to talk to those guys. But now there's a newer generation of Bears fans that need someone to latch onto. And we've had so many failures here trying to figure out how to build this new era Bears. And now you get to this point with Caleb Williams, you're 3-2, you have an opportunity to go on a run here. And there's so much excitement with the potential of what this quarterback and this team can be over the next 5 to 10 years. And so we're all kind of holding our breath, hoping this is the one. And we had this conversation the other night, Adam, where you were like, I've never felt more confident that this could happen. And I definitely would want you to expand on that, because it was, for me to hear you say that following your coverage through the years, that certainly had me excited as just a fan.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really the same sentiment I've been trying to get across on this show daily since, before the draft, which is just like my belief in Caleb Williams and that this is going to be different. And I think it already feels a lot different. And there's enough evidence, even just through 5 games, that this thing is headed in the right direction, despite how it started the first couple of weeks. We've talked to a lot of fans this week that I think they were on the edge of just like jumping off every bandwagon that's ever existed after the first couple of weeks of the season, because it's just, oh no, here we go again.
Right.
But I think that this thing now, your last couple of weeks, especially really the last 10 quarters, you go basically to halftime of that Colts game, where things started to turn around. And I feel like he's already where I thought he'd be at this point, and it's still so early. And it's interesting hearing you talk about this opportunity in London too, because with all these international fans that will be here, and that's a huge stadium, there's gonna be a lot of fans there. That's a good day to go ball out and make some new fans.
Yep.
Because that's the other thing you guys will see in this game, especially those who are in the room that maybe haven't been there before. Like, even though there are a ton of Bears fans here, once you're inside that stadium, there's a lot of just sort of neutral fans too.
Yep.
That'll be, you'll see, the most random jerseys from around the league, and probably almost every team represented by some fans at some point. But that's, you hear them latch on to Michael Jordan in the 90s or Walter Payton in the 80s, whatever it is. And it's like, well, I really think that Caleb has the potential to be that type of sports figure in Chicago that goes global. Now it's probably a little too early to be talking about that now, but we are literally international right now, in London, in the center of one of the biggest global centers that there exists in the world. And so what a good week to go ball out.
You just did what I begged the Bears not to do, which was Caleb Jordan, and you didn't have to. You just compared him to the greatest to ever play anything, but maybe he can be. Let's go Mike Light. The fans part, the optimism and where they came from. The great Igor there yesterday. So Igor was super confident. He also wanted to talk tennis, and which made me like completely love Igor.
Happy.
Wait, quickly before I forget, can I tell you my favorite fan that's been on this trip?
Sure.
He was on the boat last night.
Tom Walker from Boston.
He had no idea what CHGO was or who we were.
The guy that was dancing everybody up.
Yeah. I talked to him later in the night, and he's like, "So, what do you guys do?"
Great.
And I'm like, and that's totally okay. That's
And
cool.
he paid to be on the trip.
That's actually great for True Fan Travel, because that's what he's just signed up through True Fan Travel. And I was like, "How'd you find True Fan Travel then?" And he was like, "I just found it, and then I booked the trip, and I'm here."
Thought it was cool,
and I just thought you guys were just a bunch of guys that like to lead parties or whatever. I don't know. He just tried to join on. I'm surprised he's not up here hosting with us today.
He should be here.
Having a fun time,
that guy, and your son James were the star of the show last night. James's dancing abilities. I mean, that made everybody want to get out there, including myself. And then somehow we ended up singing "Sweet Home Chicago," which I think was Braggs' fault.
Has that been deleted from the internet yet?
Unfortunately,
I don't think
it's still
so.
there.
And it's
circulating.
I don't think
strong.
I'm sure that's going.
No, I agree. I walked up to him too, and I was like, "Hey, thanks for coming. Means a lot." And he's like, "Who are you, asshole?"
What do you do? I'm like,
aren't you here for this?
Go get me a drink.
Go Bears.
Nothing hurts our ego more. I just, you're talking about people whose favorite Bears. I was asking that question yesterday. Okay. There was a Tom who and his dad Urlacher was what brought him in. And that's, he was a teacher in Chicago. He's like, and then he jokingly said also Mike Lennon, which was amazing. There was a Chris who was wearing the Sand God jersey, so I wrote him down as Chris Sand God. His dude is Khalil Mack. So it's just interesting, right? So you became a Bears fan a little bit later in life, and in 52 was your favorite, and then he brought in his school buddy Tom, who was a complete soccer guy, and now he's becoming a Bears fan too.
Yeah, but that's my point, that a lot of these fans internationally and here in England, they haven't chosen a team yet. That's why, as we were trying to pepper Bears coaches and players with, questions about this week, the local media was like, "Hey, how would you recruit fans to, why should they support the Bears?" And
Caleb said because of the colors.
Caleb liked the colors.
Well,
Yeah,
my hope for the game on Sunday, obviously, Caleb, we all want Caleb to ball out. But the other guy that I want to hear about, like the line I want to say on Monday morning is we all came to see London and we left talking about Rome, because he's the one guy that really hasn't had a big moment yet. And I'm hoping on this stage.
Greg.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't let the Sun Times take that headline. Come on now, that's mine.
That's a good one.
But we need
At what
Rome.
point in the early hours in the morning did you think of that?
I literally
last
just
night,
thought
and
of it
then you
now.
wrote it down?
No,
believe
I
it.
swear to God, I literally just
Okay.
thought of it
Light
now.
bulb just went off.
Yeah.
No, you know where it came from is one time I went to one of the biggest high school basketball games ever in the history of our state in Indiana, and Romeo Langford was one of the best high school players. And a guy hit a guy, went to see Romeo Langford, drove like 4 hours to see this game. And a guy named David Bell hit a game-winning shot, who ended up playing for the Cleveland Browns. He played for Purdue Boilermakers as well, football.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So it was one of those lines where we came to see Romeo, left talking about David Bell. So that's where
it made more sense the first way.
No,
I
you,
like-
you,
yeah.
yeah. The first half was
Hopefully it
amazing.
happens.
Yeah.
It's a good story though.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was a great game. You would have loved it.
I would have.
Energy was off the.
I love.
I'll talk more about that game in D block.
Okay, great.
Great.
Block.
Can't wait. Before we get to the D block, we have to tell you about Empire today, because with Empire today, you get shop and home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation, and a low price guarantee. Empire today is the best place to get new flooring. So, of course, they have copycats, but Empire cannot be beaten on quality, service, speed. So competitors, they're going to advertise low-quality products that Empire simply will not carry. Empire is not going to promise you the lowest prices, because anybody who's doing that is putting flooring in your home that they would not put in their own home. And you want to check out their virtual floor designer. It's a great way to see how new floors will look in any space. It's easy. You just snap a picture and instantly see how new floors will look in your room. Plus, Empire services their own warranties. If an issue does arise, you can just call Empire. They service all those warranties themselves. You won't have to track down a manufacturer's phone number. So schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use promo code CHGO. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/CHGO for details.
Shout out to our friends at Game Time. If you're looking for tickets, use Game Time. They got a new feature. It's called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks, filtering out the fluff to show you the only incredible deals that you want to see on the great seats that you want. You don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. They're going to give you the best value, the super deal, the seat views, the lowest price guarantee, all the things that you want. Game Time Picks is the curation that makes it easier than ever to save more on sports, on concerts, on comedy, on theater, all the things that you would buy tickets for. They've got it for you at Game Time Tickets. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create yourself an account, use the code CHGO for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code is CHGO, $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it?
Game time. Who?
Speaking of Game Time picks,
Yeah.
do we want to share our picks for this game? Did you send yours in?
I have it.
Wow. Did him
I
on the
did.
train.
I'm a professional.
Yeah. Well,
Actually, yeah, you were on top of it, Mark. You saved you told me. Did you send your game pick? I'm like, I'm on it. I'm on it.
Not only did I have it, I had it at like 3 a.m. Chicago time. I set an
did.
alarm to remind myself to set it at 7 because I don't want to wake up Patrick Gore. That's the teammate that I am, Hoge.
Yeah. Pat's grinding back in Chicago. You didn't send him your pick?
I will. He's gonna hear it right now.
Transcribe what you say. You're gonna transcribe what you say and put it in the article.
All right. Well, Nick, let's start with you. What are you thinking?
Yeah, so we were talking about how this team can potentially be different. This is a normal. Think back to all the other Bears teams that maybe would go into this situation on a 2-game winning streak. Those teams would lose this game for whatever reason. The secondary is not at full strength, and both teams are obviously dealing with playing international. But like you guys and like a lot of Bears fans, I think this team can be different, and this is where you continue that win streak. And yes, they don't have 2 guys in the secondary, but I still think that defense has enough and will do enough against Trevor Lawrence and that offense to really keep things held down there. And then offensively, I like what this offense has been doing. We don't know what the offensive line's going to look like on Sunday, but I like how Shane Waldron's at least utilizing some of the guys now. I like that the rushing attack's been progressively getting better. So I have the Bears winning this one 24-13, going to the bye week on a 3-game winning streak.
Whoa, just 13 points.
Keep it down.
Carm picked the Bears to beat the Panthers by 1, which, in my opinion, should count as a loss in the records that we keep.
It's
It's a
called.
W.
That's unfortunate that you think that. Clearly,
You're undefeated.
I am.
You am.
I'm the only one undefeated. Is how you should say that. Listen, the Jacksonville Jaguars landed in London this morning.
Yeah.
At 4 a.m.
That's a problem.
That is not good. Today's ruined. You're spending tomorrow getting acclimated, and then, oh, by the way, go play an NFL football team. You've got one win, and you gave up 300+ yards and 3 touchdowns to Joe Flacco last week, who's older than me. So, look, I'm picking the Bears. I got them 30-21, and I got Caleb having a big day against the worst passing defense in the NFL. So, I also have Keenan breaking out. First breakout game for Keenan Allen in Bears uniform comes this Sunday, baby.
Let's go.
8:30 Chicago times 2:30 in London. Who's up?
This guy.
I'm up. All right. Yeah, for me, I got the Bears winning 27-17 or 27-19. I think it's going to look a lot like the Rams game to me. I think that the Jacksonville Jaguars will be able to move the ball, but I think the hardest thing about the Bears defense is getting it in the end zone. So I think at some point when we talk about this Jacksonville run game, as much as we want to talk about Trevor Lawrence, the Bears rushing defense does need to get back on track. The last 3 weeks, each running back has had around 20 carries and 100 yards. And so you're bend but don't break, but you're playing with fire a little bit. And you saw like in the Tennessee game where Will Levis was able to find the tight end in the end zone on kind of a miracle throw. And so if you let some of those slip through the cracks, now all of a sudden those field goals might turn into touchdowns. But as I trust this Bears defense to hold the line, and I think the Bears offense will continue to make strides and head in the right direction. And so I see Caleb Williams getting in the end zone more times than the Jags, and the Bears coming away with a win.
Well, to his point, by the way, I mean, Take Bisbee averaged nearly 8 yards a carry last week, and
He was a force.
yeah. So I mean, 13 carries for 101. That's 7.8,
Right.
and in the conversation with Jalen Johnson yesterday, I'm like, so what does this defense need to do to get better? He's, well, we got to improve on the details. Like, can you give me one detail that your standard fan would understand? He looks at me, he's like, stop big plays. I'm like, okay, there.
You know
there
what?
you go.
To back up Jalen Johnson's point, the Bears are 31st in the league defensively with big plays given up at 42. The Jaguars are 32nd with 44. So they do give up a lot of big plays, but like you said, Greg, they just don't let guys in the end zone.
Right.
I was trying to remember. Here we go. Well, they won both their games out here last year, the Jaguars.
Jaguars lost to
last
Buffalo
year.
by 37. They've been in other
I know. I was just looking at. I was curious because they play back-to-back games out here, which is why you have a yacht in the river over there. I guess, but
it's an advantage that it's the first game and not the second game that they're here.
Yeah, for some reason I had it in my head though that they showed up here last year, got killed, and then won the second game. Maybe that was 2 years ago or something. But,
Right. So there is a comfort level with them over here. And I think that a lot of fans on its surface would be like, oh, it's more of a home game for the Jags. But just having experienced what I experienced coming here in 2019 with my guy over there, Nick Verha, that was when I was able to meet him at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's like, I have no doubt that this is going to be, it's not just a home game on the schedule, official schedule record. It'll be a home game with the fans in the stands. Like it'll be drowned with Bears fans. I'm excited for it.
You met Nick in 2019.
Yes.
So did I.
That's how we met.
That's when I met him.
At the famous Three
It's the worst
Kings
night of my
pub.
life.
That's a real rough start right there.
Famous Three Kings pub.
The three of us were hanging out. We were the Three Kings, and Adam Johns too, and Jared Payton.
I was
pretty
more
much
the
everybody was there.
Joker.
It was an epic night.
Yeah,
I feel like there's going to be more of those epic nights, maybe tonight and tomorrow, if you don't go to bed at 11:30.
You know, it's funny that Hoge is like putting this on me that I went to bed last night. I did the night before.
First I mentioned it.
Here.
Nick Friedel wanted to see you. You disappointed
I
him.
talked with Nick today.
That means nothing.
We'll
he was here
reconcile.
last night.
We'll reconcile. I didn't know he was coming.
I don't know if he's going to.
I blame Kadek. He didn't tell me that he was coming out. It was
I never take
Kadek
responsibility.
was preoccupied.
the night before we stayed up till 3:30. You were cuddling in bed at 10:30.
That's a lie. It was midnight.
close enough. I needed a recovery.
You had to be out of there.
I needed a recovery evening.
You wanted to be out.
Which, by the way, is anybody? I won't talk about late night TV options here. That when I woke up at 2 a.m, that's quite a scene here in London.
Oh, so you weren't watching Thursday Night Football?
No, they didn't have that on my
Wait,
television.
so even worse, you were actually awake at 2
I
a.m.?
woke up. I fell. I
What
fell
were you
asleep.
watching? What were you
called
watching?
Well, you know he
I
had.
fell
watching.
To, you know he pees once an hour at night.
Wow.
There's no question about that. You're old.
So 2 times a night. They're
Super old.
There we go. Okay.
I can save you and do my prediction if you want to.
That'd be great. That'd be great. You've seen the show, Hoge. I told you about it last time I was overseas here. I learned about the show Naked Attraction, where you get to see the person without their clothes before you decide if they go on a date with them. This is a thing over here, apparently.
That was the worst show I've ever. I cannot believe.
It was unbelievable.
We were horrified watching that. You were like, it's the greatest show ever.
I'm not a prude. I could see nudity. You're a guy that you're not.
That's not what it's about. It's the whole
is
concept
weird.
of what's happening.
I mean,
You're doing dating backwards.
It's role reversal. It's one of the great. You got to know what you got to know in life, and they figured out that you got to know this. That's a brilliant show.
It is a British TV show, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
and the
Is
contestant.
that what you were watching last night?
Yes, when I woke up for a stanza, it was great. It was great. I
Wouldn't come back down the lobby, but was watching that. Okay.
It was 2:30 in the morning at that point. No, I was not. And
Rags was still down there watching football.
No interest.
We got our second kickoff return for a touchdown last.
Oh, did we? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, at about 3 a.m. that one went to the house.
Wow. That's good.
Okay. Who had it?
I don't know.
Richard Hightower. More.
I don't know. There was
Wait, you guys are watching on a tablet, right? Everyone was just kind of surrounding a tablet.
On a laptop.
Okay.
Which there's more to that story, but I'll save it
Oh,
for off the air. My guys know.
Colorado Buff, LaVisca Chenault.
Yeah.
Was the one who had it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Shout out to, yeah. I'm going 27-20 Bears. I think that this they're going to be flirting defensively with that 21-point mark. I think that it does have me slightly nervous that the Jags got things on track last week, and the Bears have had this issue that you brought up with stopping the run at times, and then now you're going to throw in the fact that you lose 2 key starters, and it's not even just losing a key starter in Tyrique Stevenson. Terrell Smith is actually pretty good, in my opinion.
Right.
I think he can start for a lot of teams around the league, and he's not even here. So usually that would be more of the situation like I feel like they might have on the offensive line where you the way Flus puts it, and I know he said it today, having a pair and a spare. Well, I feel like they've had that pair at corner, more than a pair, quite frankly, and now they actually are down to that spare in Jalen Jones. So I think they can trust him to operate within the defense, but at some point, especially when you're put on an island out there on the outside, you're going to have to shut down, a talented rookie like Brian Thomas Jr., who's off to a great start so far. And I just feel like there's going to be moments in this game where some explosive plays happen in the passing game that we really haven't seen a lot so far this season. There's been a few. So, but that being said, like I think the Bears offense is
trending in the right direction.
It's trending in the right direction, starting to click. The confidence that Caleb is getting, the chemistry he's building with these wide receivers. I hope it is a little bit of a shootout. It could be a fun game. I mean, I think the most common conversation I've had with fans so far here in London is they just want to see a better game than they saw in 2019.
That game was actually kind of crazy. It didn't end up the way we wanted. It ended up in a Bears loss to the Raiders. But
who was the guy who had the pentenalty again?
On the punt?
On the punt.
I can't remember. It was roughing the punter, right?
Yeah,
and
who was it?
The momentum was completely turned at that moment. But yeah, the Bears were down 20-0 at halftime, and it really became
with Chase Daniel at quarterback.
And then it kind of became like the Monday Night Miracle of sorts. All of a sudden, the Bears come roaring back. Allen Robinson scores, Chase Daniel to Allen Robinson in the back of the end zone. He chucks it into the stands. The place goes absolutely bonkers, and then the Bears just couldn't finish it off. There was too much time left on the clock, and the Bears were just too flawed of a team. So to me, I can remember talking to fans after that game, and they were saying of all the London games they had been to, because like you said, there's a lot of neutral fans that go to just every single one of the games to experience the NFL. that was like one of the more competitive, crazy atmospheres they had been a part of at that point. Now there's been a lot more games since then, so I don't know if that's changed, but in terms of atmosphere, it was second to none. It just didn't come out the Bears' way. So hopefully it's the reverse this time around.
You figured out who it was?
No,
I can picture talking to him in the locker room after the game.
Not Woods, right? The linebacker? No.
Jared McManus, Prince Mukamara.
Are you just gonna start saying names? Is that what's happening here?
I'm trying to read through this article. That's good.
It was a linebacker. I'll find it anyway. But the thing that stood out to me was he talked in the locker room after the game, and Khalil Mack, who was playing his former team, did not. So many crazy things happened on that trip. Kyle Long played horribly and basically was told on the flight home for Matt Nagy that he wasn't going to play anymore, and he was officially gone at the end of the season. Akeem Hicks suffered the elbow injury in that game, which was ugly. Mm-hmm. So it just and Mitch wasn't starting, and so you had Chase Daniel in there. It was just a weird game.
Do you want to hear from Bill Murray while you figure this out, or would you like to do that at another time, Hoge?
Sure, let's do it.
All right, so Bill Murray playing left guard last week. The Bears made him available today. Very rare that we get the Bill Murray opportunity. So I jumped on that Bill Murray opportunity, courtesy of RG and his ability, who's now James has got his camera, and things are really going well. Here's James going to build his career as a superstar 9-year-old. But this was... This is a man who's very focused on doing as well as he can in his first opportunity this season after years on the practice squad over in New England to get a chance to play.
Hey Bill, did you get a sense at some point that if you got your chance to play this year that you were like, come on, I'm ready, I know I can handle it?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's, going through training camp, that's everyone's goal, is like to be as ready as possible. You have the opportunity to play, and for guys who are starting, and that's their goal, is when they're out there to be the best they can be. I think that's everyone's goal. So it's nice to get out there and perform well. Hopefully just keep building off of that.
Lou said earlier in the year that he was like impressed with your training camp. He shouted you out. I think he not even mentioned. Like he just said, Murray's really doing it. So did you hear that? Did you kind of sense that you were making that with the coaching staff?
I'll be honest, I try to ignore the media. Usually it's not the
not taking it personal.
No, all good. But yeah, I usually try to ignore it because if it's all this positive stuff, then inflate your ego, and then if it's negative, you kind of get down on yourself. So kind of just try to stay out of it.
Are you most comfortable with left guard?
Well, wherever.
As you probably are aware, Bears actually not
right, so for opportunity. How do you go
it's about the Bears
bonding such a next to each other? I mean, I assume there's kind of maybe chemistry with Rex and make it work something calm on that side.
Yeah, I mean, I think you build that up during training camp, right? Like everyone's getting reps with everyone. And just kind of getting a feel. And I think we're all coached the same, right? So like, for instance, Kramer and Braxton are coached the same, so most of the time they're doing the exact same thing, so it's pretty easy for a transition of like a combination blocks or even just a pass pro.
What's the next level in your mind for this offense?
I mean, we just got to keep building forward. Most important thing is take care of the ball and put points on board. Keep doing that, then be successful.
Expecting the playoffs Sunday?
We'll see.
How long did it take you last week for you to feel acclimated to the time change? Was it 2 days? How long?
Yeah, I felt pretty good. Didn't really have any issues. I think our training staff did a really good job of kind of preparing us for that and trying to get as much sleep on the plane and just fighting through that first day and going to sleep on UK hours was crucial. And then after that, I kind of felt pretty good.
There you go. Professional, focused, gritty Bill Murray.
Oh, I thought you were talking about yourself.
That's what I 100% thought.
Oh, man.
I was about to say, like, well, what about Bill Murray? But you,
I mean,
Gritty.
did you like the way I just stared into Bill Murray's eyes?
well,
there?
you did start the video. Everybody here can't see it, but the ones that watch on YouTube, like, you just stare, like, but then you picked up. But like at first, you just
I was
had
casual. It was a
It was-
casual environment.
creepy, casual. There's a fine line.
I spent the whole interview figuring out it was Kevin Pierre-Louis.
Oh, I remember
Who had the
Kevin
penalty?
Not
Pierre-Louis.
Josh Woods.
It was
Josh
not.
Woods.
Woods had a different penalty in that
That's
game.
Right. That's what I saw.
On I think a Bears punt, but this was Pierre-Louis running into the kicker. It was 4th and 6 at the Raiders' own 22. He runs into the kicker, so it gives the 4th and 1. Very bold call to go for it. 4th and 1 from their own 27. Continued the drive, ended up going down, scoring. That was the game-winning touchdown in that game here in London
Good research.
5 years ago. There you go. I knew it was bothering me.
I would have listened
And
to my
Pierre-Louis.
I would have listened to my interview, but that's okay. It's okay.
I'll listen to the podcast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, the one thing about going back to your Pulitzer Prize winning
Thank you.
interview with Bill Murray was
Thank you.
I do always enjoy when you ask an offensive lineman like that, like where do you prefer to play? And we've heard this before, like
Anywhere.
guys that are trying to stay on the team, they're not saying where they prefer. They're just gonna let you know I'll play wide receiver if they tell me. Like, you know, and then the guys that feel more comfortable, you know, with their place in the league, they're gonna say where they prefer. So, you know, it seems like, hey, we all kind of, especially me as somebody that's a huge Ryan Poles supporter, I was kind of like, hey, he's got to take a step back here for all this talk. He talked of the depth with this offensive line being the best he's ever been around. And I was like, you know, at the end of the day, you're going to have to own this, Ryan, for this season, even if you made some calculated moves, knowing you weren't going to be able to fill every hole. But now all of a sudden that they've figured out what they want to run, what they want to call, and started to find a little bit of continuity and chemistry, that the depth is starting to show when you mentioned Matt Pryor and Bill Murray here playing more time.
Look, it's a game of adjustments though, and swings, and teams are always adjusting. I'm curious at what point, because the Bears have started doing this no huddle stuff and speeding it up. How do teams counter that? And when they do, and when they have a good plan for it and they're not caught off guard by it, what happens then? Because that's always what's going to happen. It's the same thing that I'm telling you is going to happen with Jaden Daniels and the Commanders. Like someone was showing me a video. Was that you showing me a video of Belichick last night? Like talking about how he would stop Jaden Daniels. Like this stuff is
It's not new to anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's why there's ebbs and flows into a season. So I'm just saying, like, that's going to happen at some point. I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow or after the bye week or whatever. But then what's the next adjustment that the Bears will have to make? Because I do feel like they're in a good part of why we're seeing this better offensive line play as of late, or more trust in the depth, has to do with that. And I just wonder, okay, when they get tested in a new way, are these guys going to be ready for it?
Well, and it's about communication, right, Nick? I mean, when you looked at how much they were getting confused on the twists and the stunts, and when Corey Wooten's always talking about they're running a game, they couldn't pick it up to start the season, regardless of whose responsibility or fault it was. And now they have, from the line to whoever's in the backfield with protection from tight ends to running backs. They're starting to pick those up, which last week when you saw Caleb Williams hit DJ Moore coming across, they picked that up. And early in the season, they weren't. So what is the counter off of that? You know, I don't know the answer to that question. You know, I only see and react, but to try to predict how they're going to counter that is certainly an interesting thought.
And look, the Jaguars like to run those twists and stunts up front, and if they know that the Bears like to go no huddle, they also know that they've struggled with twists and stunts in the past. Like, that's why Waldron in this offense, they need to show the ability to adapt. I think this whole trip is all about adapting. You're adapting to a 6-hour time difference, practicing in new place, adapting with no secondary players in your starting lineup. So I think whatever team can show that they can be better at adapting, they're going to win this game on Sunday.
You want to hear a Carm hot take? I know you do.
Oh,
I was wondering how you.
We were waiting.
We were so close.
You know,
yeah.
I know we were like, man, this show hasn't been derailed yet.
Well, I was wondering
we
if he would
need the
adapt.
hero we don't deserve.
I know. I thought he was going to adapt. And he did.
No. So Bill Murray, I can see him when the situation at right guard, when Matt Pryor starts to falter, which he is the most seasoned, but he's also the most failed offensive lineman of the backups, has gotten the most opportunity. If that goes south, I could see Bill Murray getting the shot at right guard ahead of the previously starting right guard, Nate Davis. What do you think of that? Hoge, Braggs, Nick,
I was waving at the people back there.
I don't hate it because
didn't
this
hear you.
whole Bill Murray thing has been very interesting to me since the first time. There was a very quick, brief moment in a practice in Bourbonnais.
Yep.
That Tevin Jenkins left the
Bourbonnais.
field. Bourbonnais, wow. I still do it.
Close
Even
enough.
drinking.
I didn't
You
flinch.
actually know why I said that today? Was because Flus was talking about how this reminds him of training camp. And to
did say
me, when I heard him say that, I was like, yeah, but it actually feels more like Bourbonnais
Right.
than Lake Forest because you're actually like
Or the Colts training camp.
in a hotel. Yeah,
Yeah,
but you're
yeah,
like
that's
you're
true.
on the road. It's in a hotel for like a extended period of time here. That's why I had Bourbonnais in my mind. But anyway, Jenkins left the field for like 2 snaps. That's all it was. And of all the people, and this was early in camp too, Bill Murray came out there
And
with
Matt
the
Eberflus.
ones, and I was like,
Yeah.
wow, wasn't expecting that.
Eberflus also like highlighted him out of all the people in
Yeah.
the press conference one time. Then that put everybody's attention, like Bill Murray, and then I think he had that practice. So it's like, okay,
Well,
We
well,
were
we
on
had-
Bill Murray first here at CHGO.
Yeah.
For the record.
That's right.
Well,
Nobody had it.
And then the other guy we were on first here at CHGO Bears. So 2 guys early on that played with the ones where it was like, oh, the other guy was Reddy Stewart. And Hoge was laughing at me when they said Tyrique Stevenson was out. And I was like, Gary Ross texted me about it. Same thing. Hey, Reddy Stewart, let him play. You know, I'm not saying start him.
Well, maybe there's some.
Maybe he's active. Maybe he makes a
there's-
play.
Maybe he will start. Maybe there's some high level
Oh, I will eat.
secrecy going
Yeah,
on.
man. The amount of Taco Bell I'll eat if Reddy Stewart gets a pick.
Oh, yeah,
six.
to do. Oh, wow.
To wrap up the offensive line
gross.
talk from that was about, I just didn't think about it. To wrap up the O-line talk from today, Doug Kramer meeting the media, and he was and Courtney Cronin,
Fullback, Doug Kramer.
the fullback
Yeah.
Doug Kramer. Cronin is going to have a piece on Doug Kramer coming out here because she had a lot of questions, but she was basically leaning into like, you're the modern day Fridge. You know, no one has had that role since then, and he and so
Hicks got a touchdown.
right,
He
but
did.
this is feels a little bit more, I don't know, like it's going to be going on for the rest of the season. I got in there and was just asking him about, hey, you know, year 3, do you feel like you're ready to get in there? I'm sure you do, but like talk about, you know, what the differences that you're at now from say a year ago. And he's a feisty Doug Kramer, but he wasn't going to put himself out there and be like, you know, start demanding playing time. But I think that's another thing to watch.
Okay.
I've been
Yeah, you
mentioning that
got
for a while now.
Oh, we
Wait,
should.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It was just a couple things. Steven, our amazing producer, who's been really busting here these last every day, just busting his butt to make sure these shows get off the. Well, I'm being
job.
careful about the words I use with children in
Super
my
careful.
vicinity.
So careful.
yeah,
Never
yeah.
seen anyone more careful.
This guy was talking about naked TV shows.
Yes.
Oh, he was about to go different level over there. But anyway, go ahead there,
Yes.
Greg.
So, well, regardless, we appreciate you, Stephen. But he did have a stat for us. In 4 career games in London, Trevor Lawrence has yet to have a game with multiple passing touchdowns. So certainly something of note. And then I guess the other thing that came across the waiver wire that is certainly interesting and noteworthy from 670 The Score, on with, Mully and Haw here.
Stacey Dales.
As Stacey Dales did report it as well on Mully and Haw. Thank you, Carm. Early this season, Shane Waldron and the Bears weren't scripting their first 15 plays or so. And they've started to do it recently. Stacey Dales saying now you're seeing a little bit more polish. And, like that is a wild statement.
That just gave me a headache.
Yeah, that is a
Oh, my
wild statement and certainly something that I think we should discuss because A, what? And B, yeah, that makes sense that they weren't scripted because what the heck was going on those first 15 plays? And that was our question. Every time we come into a post-game show, like, you guys have scripted these plays and you don't look ready. Well, it turns out they weren't scripting them. How?
That's bizarre. I don't know. I mean, there were some things the first couple weeks of the season that, even things that we were hearing it just seemed like they were too cute with the personnel. Trying to reinvent the wheel, apparently being like, I don't even need to script the first 15 plays. We'll do what we do. That's just so
We'll talk
weird.
about that, as a,
Sure.
a coach, right? Coach, put your Coach Hoge hat on and talk about the importance of scripting the first 15 as opposed to reacting to what you're seeing as the defense comes out on the field.
Well, honestly, it's not even like that controversial of it's just common sense to have your first drive ready to go. I mean, I think that's the genesis of having like your first 15 plays. Like the number is sort of arbitrary. It's just sort of called first 15. But really all you're doing is planning your first drive of the game, which if you could have every drive for the whole game planned, you would. But the reality is the whole game is adjustments. The only drive you don't have an adjustment to is the first drive. And so you go through your practice, you see your whole week of practice, your preparation, you see what's working, what your players are into, what you haven't run a whole lot of yet, what you think you can run against this defense, and you put together what's essentially a menu. And you have your menu for the entire game, but you obviously have your favorites ready to go because you think you've had all week to prep for that first drive. That's all that is. I can't even like fathom what that even means, honestly. Be like, you
just go out there with essentially no menu, no plan to actually go and attack the defense. I mean, you've been planning for.
I'm trying to like in black and white terms. That must just mean like most play cards would have like your first 15 pulled out to the side. That's all that means. He must have still had an idea of what he was going to call. He just must not have had it separated on his card.
It's almost like a boxer not planning how he's going to approach a fight,
or how Carman comes into every show,
right? And
I was gonna say that I think this is great. Just fly by the skin of your pants. Let's go. Let's figure out what's going on in the moment and see what we can make work. But the whole point of this, Gregory, thanks for bringing it up, is that you're trying to make your quarterback as comfortable as possible.
Right.
Yeah.
So if he knows what's coming, he's going to be more comfortable regardless of what the defense is doing. So that just seems way off.
Well, real quickly, I have some of the results from the games and what would be like the first, let's say, 15 plays. I mean, you have 3 straight punts from the Tennessee Titans, so not very good. You have a field goal on the first drive that they got offensively against the Texans, and then you go punt the next drive. You go to the Colts, miss field goal, 11 plays. Punt. Yeah, so I mean, we're getting some mixed results here. You have 3 straight punts against the Los Angeles Rams, so there's your 15 plays. And then last week against Carolina Panthers, you have the 3 and out, but then you get a touchdown. So
they
starting to figure things out.
And last week they immediately pivoted to doing things faster, getting the speed. Shane Waldron, no huddle offense moving as best they can to try to catch different options as far as guys, just get in a rhythm, get the Panthers stuck on the field with different personnel.
All right. Well, we got to wrap this thing up because we have another event to go to, and we got to tear all this stuff down and try to make Steven's life easier. We do have super chats to get to, I know, and because of our setup today, Steven, if you throw them on the screen, we'll just read them off of Greg's fine, enormous computer. Why is your computer so big?
Well, Hoge, go big or go home.
Chubbs 82, $5. We have great depth at corner. Jaguars defense is last in almost everything, or second to last. Final score 38-17 Bears.
They're 8th in rush defense there, Chubby Chubb.
Well, for the record, Chubbs has picked the Bears to win every single game for the last 28 years of his life.
I mean,
it didn't look so good.
I've picked them to win every game in the last 6 weeks now.
Keep it going.
That's why I'm
now Chubbs is making fun of me in the super chat saying, breaking news, secure players say truth. Thanks, Greg. You're welcome, Chubbs. Now shut up.
Are you related to Chubbs? I forget.
Me and Chubbs are friends.
They're just friends. Okay.
It shows.
Speaking of Chubbs, though, when you guys were talking about the menu and the plays, it had me thinking about food. Chubbs 82 once again won't shut up. The Jaguars stink. We are going to win. Thanks, Chubbs.
I like Chubbs.
The guy.
Another one from Chubbs. Jeez, Louise, this guy.
No, this is from Jackie.
Okay, thank God.
Different Jackie. Jackie Humphrey, $20. Love having Briggs and Brown. Great panel the other day. Much love. Herb, Nick, Herb, Hoge, Carm, Briggs, Braggs, Brown, Komet, all on the panel.
Crazy.
Oh my. That would be amazing chaos.
I'd love to sit there and just look at everyone.
Isn't the show
that'd be great?
Isn't the show chaotic enough?
We call it the CHGO Bears Summit.
Yeah.
We go in a big,
elevated
auditorium.
It sounds like a
And
good
then we
live
just
show.
have the worst, off the rails show we've ever had, where everybody just goes on crazy ramblings.
It's a long list.
I got to say the last couple Briggs and Browns that I've been a part of, because I'm all about me, as you know. We're settling in, baby. It's calming down.
Yeah,
That's good.
Yeah. Well, we got to find
chemistry?
our chemistry. Yeah,
We're
exactly.
finding the chemistry.
quarterback?
The Briggs Brown. Yeah, I was Caleb apparently coming out, not the 92 yards and nothing. But
You just
now
compared yourself
You
to
weren't.
Caleb?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you weren't.
Wow.
You
I
weren't.
compared Caleb to Jordan, so you
You're-
compared yourself to Jordan. Is what you just did.
yeah,
Yeah,
that
doesn't sound
doesn't add up. That's
Can I
a bad
just say
calculation.
too? Can I just say too that fish and chips, they're just fries. Like what are the chips? They're not. They're fries.
That's how languages
It's
work,
fish
you moron.
and fries.
Is it good?
And then, so what are you going to
Yes.
say next?
Good.
What are these crisps? They're just chips. Yes, that's just what they're called here.
Crips.
Do you know what
Crisp.
like
Crisps.
Like what?
do you know what they call the golf cart?
Oh yeah.
I heard about this. The buggies.
Bucket.
A
It's
bucket.
a bucket.
I
Who
heard they're
knows?
called buggies.
You got a rant about that one?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Respect where you're at. Period. Gregory.
Does he ever?
No.
No.
Can we get just a show of hands in here? Who thinks the Bears are winning on Sunday? Is it unanimous? Is anybody who's
Yeah,
Wow,
everybody,
it's
let's
unanimous. Makes me
go.
nervous.
Not our G didn't raise his hand. Raise your hand, Ryan. Yeah.
Is it what?
Oh,
Oh,
he didn't hear. So
All right.
That's okay.
that's okay.
All right, you really talented hater.
Crystal's watching.
Crystal says, just send in love. Just jumped on to say, hey, enjoy and bear down. $20 super chat from Crystal.
You enjoy Crystal. She's at her homecoming.
You want to do a rapid fire of everybody
There's
on
one
the boat,
more.
Carm, before we get going?
There's
too?
one more. Chubbs 82, $2. Just for that, only light beer for you, Greg. Fatty.
Whoa. Yeah, sure.
I'm
Let's
assuming that's how it was written.
here are the names
He
that I
spelled
have.
fatty wrong too. Yeah, you idiot.
Okay, we're gonna
Just
be
call him after the
arguing
show.
through the
Save
internet.
him money and help the show.
Yeah.
This is a family gentleman show, minus a couple of things that were said today. Shout out to everybody who came out to either of our events yesterday, Passyunk or on the amazing boat cruise with True Fan Travel. Igor, Tom Walker, Tom and Terry and Kristen, with who her husband apparently watches the show and can't stand me but loves me at the same time. Love that guy. I mentioned Tom, who's a huge Urlacher fan, and his dad, who's a teacher in Chicago. Chris Sandgod, Thomas, a Jim Belushi guy, Eric Carlson from Sweden, who I think I saw in here a minute ago, but I think he walked back out maybe the Today Show. I'm sure he had something very busy to do. Brad from LA, Caleb and Connor from Rockford. Loved you guys. Blake, who lives in Vegas. Luke, my guy, he's a grip, a legit movie superstar with us. Worked on Air, worked on King Richard, two of my favorites.
Wow.
He said that Will Smith was amazing to be around. And I've got some other stories off the air for the rest of the actors. Okay, we'll leave it at that. Elliot came up to me and told me that your accent is terrible. I loved Elliot. Bastian from Germany. Gary from the UK listens while he works out, walking the dog. He and said something about that I have the German accent.
You know what's funny is
Yeah.
Carm's Rolodex is a lot
Yeah.
like Michael Scott's Rolodex. This is how he remembers people with these bullet points.
I
This is
write.
good.
I
This is
try
interesting.
to write things down. What are you looking
Steven needs to wrap up.
for? Okay, so we'll save the rest for another day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
screw all those people.
Mike and Joanna and the kids and Allison and Eric and Teresa and Doug and Terry. Andres from El
All right,
Paso. Is he
here's
here?
what we're doing.
Andres, there he is, right there. Andres.
Because-
Shout out to Andres.
Because we have to be at the stadium on Sunday. There's going to be a special pregame show coming your way from back in Chicago. And then we are reversing our postgame situation on Sunday. Briggs and Brown will be coming right after the game. We will be hustling back here to our studio here in London. And we will be talking about the Bears win over the Jaguars late into the London evening. It'll still be basically morning and early afternoon.
And
back home.
excited to announce, maybe I'm putting the cart before my host, but we do have a special host for the Briggs and Brown show, correct?
Yes.
And that as long as that's confirmed, I'll say it. If not, I'll shut my
well,
mouth.
I did the same thing as you. I'm not sure if it's confirmed, but I still already teased it on Hogan Johns because she was on Hogan Johns today.
Okay, so there you go.
So Taylor
Yeah.
Dowell, I believe, is hosting Briggs and Brown.
Taylor Dowell from Windy
Wow.
City Gridiron. She does work with Jacksonville coverage as well. So she's got a little perspective on both sides of the tracks. Huge Bears fan. She was at our tailgate last
Just came to the Caleb
last
tailgate.
Sunday. Yeah, she's great. And it'll be fun for her to add a little
That's awesome.
little flavor to the Briggs and Brown
People
show.
ever want to work with me and
Yeah,
you
we're
after they
done.
work with
No.
Taylor Dowell?
Me and you.
That's
We are on notice.
bad scene for us there. Yeah,
I'm just gonna stay here
You
the
are
rest of my life.
good.
What about our
without your wallet that you still haven't gotten back.
Yeah, you need that.
All right, we are out of here. But
Thanks for coming on the live.
Yep.
Yes, superstars. Appreciate
We're
you.
gonna enjoy the weekend with everybody that came here to London. Hey, I'll throw this out there if you're feeling a little FOMO because you didn't come out to London, Arizona in a few weeks.
Yep, let's go.
Just saying,
TrueFanTravel.com.
You can still come to Arizona.
What are, we,
Play some golf with us Saturday morning.
I'm excited.
what are we doing tomorrow? All day, hang out.
Yeah,
I'm
I was
leaving
trying to
you
do a
guys.
promo. What are
Okay,
you
great.
yelling at me about tomorrow for?
I want to think about tomorrow. I want to hang out
Well,
with
I'm
the peeps.
trying to sell a package to
Okay.
Arizona.
Oh, you should come to Arizona. Yeah, absolutely. Go to
Did his
Arizona.
brain just break? What just happened?
Come to
He
Arizona.
doesn't have a brain.
Oh,
We're
okay.
golfing in Arizona. It's gonna be awesome.
We're out of here. We'll talk to you on Sunday.
Let's go.
We all silly like the mayor.